Hey mate, today I'm going to show you 3 ways to stop knee pain in your squats. Okay, so for this first one, this little exercise is going to teach you how to keep your knees tracking over your second toe. Because a big problem for knee pain and issue is that people just aren't really squatting, I would say, optimally. Okay, so if you're squatting down and you're dumping into your knees, you're most likely your knees are going to be traveling inwards. Okay, so it's not the best way. You're not going to lift the most weight by doing these things, and it's going to feel really unstable. Okay, so what we want to be doing when we're squatting is having our knees tracking over the second toe. So that's just going to mean that we're creating more stability in our squat. Our butt muscles are working a bit more, so therefore we're working less of the quad and using bigger muscles in our body, and therefore it's going to be safer and we're going to lift more weight, which is the most important thing, right? So it's just going to teach you to squat down and drive those knees out in a good position rather than being somewhere around here. Whereas if you start to pile on the weight, the first thing that's going to give out is those knees, okay? Especially if you're having knee pain or issues. So if you grab a band like this is what it's going to teach you to spread the floor. So the concept of spreading the floor is basically you're going to be trying to spread the floor with your feet. So you're going to be trying to do this basically, but you're going to be doing it without moving your feet. So if I just spread my feet like that, you can see that my knees start to move and go over there. Whereas if I don't spread my feet and I squat, I'm going to be more likely to go on there. That's what this exercise teaches you to do. So you're going to wrap that around here. So where you want it is just around the balls of your feet here. We don't really want it midfoot. We want it more out here because that's what we're going to push against to teach you to spread the floor. So we're going to start out here in a bit of a half squat position like so. We're going to spread the floor or push your feet against the band. That's going to drive your knees out there. You can reach out, do whatever you want to do with your hands. And we're just going to do these short little crab walks like so. Okay, so pushing out, making sure that I'm not letting it pull us in. We're going to create this tension here. So we're going left to right, going to the right, making sure that we're pushing outwards with our feet. We don't want to be going out like that or in like that. We want nice and straight feet. Just going through the motion here, and you should really start to feel a bit of a burn in your butt, okay? Just make sure when you're doing this one is that you're not losing tension in your hips. So if I have it here, we don't want to be squatting down like this and then having a nice arch or tucking way too much under like that. Think about somewhere in between that. If you're dumping your hips this way, you're probably not going to feel it in your butt. It's going to be more in your back or in your quads. So you want to spread the floor like that, and that should set your hips, and then go for it, okay? So just keep that in mind when you're doing this one. Okay, so for this next one, it fixes the issue of people just dumping into their knees too early in the squat. If you're getting knee pain and that sort of thing, you're most likely squatting like this because if you're squatting down too far into your knees, it's going to put a lot of downward pressure on there. It's not going to be nice, especially if you've got quite sensitive knees. If we get a bit more of a back squat going, so basically a knee dominant squat is more of your upright and it's more of a front squat. So you're going to be using the knees a lot more in the lower position. Whereas if you want to use your hip muscles more or your butt, it's going to have a lot less knee flexion. It's going to be nicer on your knees. So that's going to look like a squat. Rather than like this, it's going to be more like this. So you're going to be leaning over a bit and your butt's going to be sitting back a lot further rather than like this, which is more of a front squat. So today, this is going to teach you to sit your butt back so that you're not using your knees as much and using more your hip muscles like a big back squat, okay? So the way we do this is we block the movement, okay? Great way to do this is grabbing a bench, or you can do this in using a wall too. A bench is probably a better idea. So what you do is you want to try to make sure that your hips are the first thing to move. We don't want the knees to move because that just makes us want to do this sort of thing. We want to stand up nice and straight, so giving yourself a bit of a space because we don't want to be doing a squat like this. That's more of a hip hinge, it's more of a deadlift. So what you do is you line that up, have your hands wherever you want, you can reach them out like that. And we're going to squat down. So you want to go hips go forward, go back, sorry. And then what will happen is if your knees want to travel forward, they'll actually be blocked there and you're going to be forced to sit back into that squat and lean over, okay? So what you can do is gradually learn to squat like this so you can sit back. You're going to be spreading the floor while you're doing it. And as you get better of it, slowly ditch the bench. So you can sit back into those heels a bit more and go for more of a back squat rather than a front squat. Okay, so for this last one, it's incorporating those two elements that the last exercises teach you to do, which is sit back into your squat, lean over, and not dump your knees, and also not dump your knees in together, okay? So if we put these two concepts together and we get you to, basically we can shorten the squat to make it a bit easier and give you a chance to basically reclaim your position at the top and the bottom of the squat. It'll make a lot of sense once we get into it. So what we do is these are called box squats. So you can do these with a barbell, but today we're doing them without, okay? Just as a bit of a warm up. So the first thing you want to do is grabbing a band like this, just so that it reminds you to spread the floor while you're doing this. You're going to wrap it around your knees like that. So just about there, wherever's comfortable for you. You're going to go quite a wider position. And you can spin your feet out a few degrees here. They don't have to be dead straight, just spun out a bit. Okay, so you can find a bench, or basically you don't want any lower than your hip level. Eventually you can start to build it up. You can build it up quite high and then slowly go lower and lower. It's really up to you, whatever's comfortable for you. So with this one, we're really going to focus on sitting back onto the box. Luckily, we've got the box there to catch you, so you should feel a lot more confident doing it. So we can reach out here. We're going to spread the floor, push our knees out. We're going to sit back onto the box, really focus here. Now that we're down on the box, we can take a bit of time to reset a bit. So we can reset, think about those things like pushing out, nice and tall. And we're actually going to sit nice and tall and then lean forward. So think nose to toes, drive knees out and then sit up nice and tall, okay? So driving knees out the whole time, so sitting back, leaning over forward, nice and tall, and then nose to toes, and then sitting up. So if we get another shot how it looks from the front, so you can see what my knees are doing. So I can reach out here, I'm going to spread the floor with my feet. So I'm going to go nice and wide for this one. Spreading the floor, I'm sitting back. My knees aren't going too far over my toes. I'm really sitting back, squeezing. So I can relax here for a bit if I need to. So I'm going to get out of the chair, I'm going to spread the floor. I'm going to lean over, nose to toes, and then stand up and squeeze my butt. Make sure to really take the time so you're remembering to spread the floor and sit back into your heels, and you should be fine. So there you have it. They're my 3 best ways to stop knee pain in your squats. The key is to really change the way you squat, making sure that you're not dumping into your knees too much. And in sports terms is focus on a more of a hip dominant movement. Hopefully once you get more of a back squat going on and that starts to feel better, you build some, basically you learn how to spread the floor with your feet. You know how to stabilize your lower half of your body. Then you can start doing other things like a more of a knee dominant squat. That means, something that where your knees are traveling over your toes a bit more, okay? But that's later down the track. Focus on these 3 things and you should eventually get there. If you want any more great information, please make sure to check out my 7 lifts to bulletproof your body after injury. This goes through your squat, deadlift, bench, pull up, and a few other ones that are very important. I'll drop that down in the description down below. Please make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below. My name's Adam and I help you return to the gym and stay there.